Thousands of people are trying to flee Sudan into neighboring nations despite a 3-day ceasefire.
US President Joe Biden has formally announced his plan to run for re-election in 2024, which would set up a potential rematch against old rival Donald Trump.
There is a tense silence in Khartoum after a tenuous ceasefire, as many contemplate leaving in case the fighting continues. More than 420 people have been killed since April 15th. Foreign nations have already pulled their citizens out of the country, but for many Sudanese, their options are limited. Transportation is scarce, and many are facing multiple barriers, such as the cost to flee, their families, and even their health. Like this group of patients in need of dialysis.
المفروض يغسل يوم بعد يوم، ففي واحد بقول لهم 10 يوم ما غسلوا، إذا فط غسلتين أو 3 غسلات يمكن يموت، يعني بنسبة 80% يموت بسبب موية تنزل في الرئة.
But some people have managed to flee the country to neighboring nations. Egypt is one of their main destinations, although some on the ground have reported that border guards are asking for visas for some men. Authorities have not confirmed the number of people who have entered the country in recent days. One person has been reported killed and at least 10 others injured in an apparent Russian missile strike on the Ukrainian city of Kupiansk in the Kharkiv region. Ukrainian authorities say a museum was targeted by a Russian S-300 air defense missile. Ukraine's president condemned the attack on Twitter, saying, quote, "The terrorist country is doing everything to destroy us completely." Eastern Ukraine has been hit by multiple air attacks in recent weeks. It comes as Kyiv intensifies preparations for a counteroffensive against the Russian invasion.
The UK Defence Ministry says over April, Russia's average daily casualty rate has highly likely fallen by around 30%. This follows exceptionally heavy Russian casualties over January-March. Russia's losses have highly likely reduced as their attempted winter offensive has failed to achieve its objectives, and Russian forces are now focused on preparing for anticipated Ukrainian counter-offensive. The Institute for the Study of War says Russian forces continued ground attacks in and around Bakhmut and did not make any confirmed territorial gains in the city on the 23rd and the 24th of April. After more than 10 months of Russia's efforts to capture Bakhmut, Wagner Group leader said that the fall of Bakhmut will not change Russia's operational situation on the Donetsk region axis. Prigozhin claimed that Wagner's job is to wear down Ukrainian forces ahead of a possible counter-offensive. On the 22nd of April, the Institute for the Study of War says that Ukrainian forces have established an enduring presence in certain areas of East Bank, Kherson region, but not a bridgehead. On Monday, the think tank issued a clarification saying the Institute for the Study of War does not assess that Ukrainian forces have established a bridgehead across the Dnipro River. The think tank then issued a separate statement regarding coverage of announced upcoming Ukrainian counteroffensive operations, saying that it is committed to doing everything it can to avoid compromising Ukrainian operational security or telling the Russians anything they do not already know. The Institute for the Study of War will make no forecast whatsoever about what Ukrainian forces might or might not do, let alone where or when they might do it. Quote, "We will be particularly careful to avoid statements that might be construed as offering such forecasts in the coming weeks."
200 light tanks. That's the number of refurbished combat vehicles the Netherlands is sending to Ukraine. While Europe is second to the US in providing support packages to Kyiv, the EU's foreign policy chief Joseph Borrell says military aid isn't getting to Ukraine fast enough.
More than 1,000 missiles has been provided to Ukraine, and a number of ammunition which is still growing, but it has to grow quicker in the next days. The second track, another billion, is being finalized by member states. There has been some disagreement, but the work continues. We are not waiting for the legal document to be finished to start working.
This same message was given by the Prime Minister of Estonia, Kaja Kallas, on her visit to Ukraine. She says she supports Kyiv's NATO application.
So for peace in Europe, we need Ukraine in the European Union, we need Ukraine in NATO. This is also the message in this joint declaration we have just signed. This is also the reason why I suggested to the European Union to jointly procure 1 million artillery shells for Ukraine and send them directly to Ukraine.
In addition to munitions, EU member states and NGOs continue to send humanitarian aid, such as this charity in Riga, which was visited by the Estonian and Latvian First Ladies. It's here where aid packages are prepared for both Ukraine's defenders and civilians.
For the first time since the post-war era of 1999, the 4 northern municipalities of Kosovo, inhabited by a majority of Serbs, will be led by leaders of the Albanian community, who are in a minority in these areas. On Sunday, Serbian parties and citizens boycotted elections there, a move officially encouraged by Belgrade.
Ovo je pokazalo ogromno jedinstvo srpskog naroda, disciplinu I odgovornost Srba kakva nije viđena u savremenoj istoriji našeg naroda. Srbi su se ponašali ne samo nacionalno svesno, savjesno I odgovorno, već se ponašali kao veoma snažan narod.
According to journalist Jamai Reja, the election proved very little and there were no winners.
This is not good for Kosovo, as it would turn the attention towards crisis in the ground and not the bigger picture, which is implementing the Brussels and then Ohrid agreements, which in a way implies that Serbia will recognize Kosovo's right to exist.
However, Kosovo's Prime Minister Albin Kurti does not share this perspective and has asked them to work in the interests of all citizens, even the ethnic Serbs in the majority who boycotted the election.
A group of sailors are diving to the depths of a popular tourist destination in Cyprus to clean up its coastal reefs. The divers have already pulled out cart tires, scraps of metal, and concrete blocks from the popular Ionapa lagoon. Their mission: to draw attention to the growing problem of sea pollution.
It all starts here and ends up here, at a wastewater plant where all the liquids that we flush down our toilets are purified before being discharged back into nature. This is the Aquaris plant in Brussels, the largest in Belgium and also one of Europe's most important. The collected wastewater undergoes a number of successive treatments, through which grit, oils, particle and organic pollution are all filtered out.
À la station d'épuration d'Aquaris, nous pouvons traiter jusqu'à une hauteur de 16,4 mètres cubes d'eau par seconde, soit 16 400 litres d'eau par seconde. Et ici, en moyenne, nous allons traiter 300 millions de litres d'eau par jour.
In the European Union, the treatment of wastewater is regulated by a directive from 1991. Since then, pollution has increased, but technology has improved. To better align rules with the EU's climate policy objectives, the European Commission proposed a new directive in 2022 that's now being assessed by the European Parliament's Environment Committee. In general, the new directive provides stricter standards and obligations that EU cities and towns will need to comply with. In the past, though, some countries and regions have struggled to respect the rules. But as far as the MEP in charge of the law is concerned, the new investments will be money well spent.
The cost will be there either way. If you don't do anything, you're going to have medical costs, you're going to have health costs, you're going to have premature deaths. So the cost will be there in different ways. So you have to choose. Would you like to do it the nice way or the bad way?
For the water industry, the directive is on the right track, since it's trying to push the sector towards a different mentality, turning wastewater treatment into a resource hub that can produce energy like biogas or make nitrogen and phosphorus for use in agriculture. But all of this comes at a price. It means that those who pollute will have to pay for it.
There will be strains on the public budgets, but we would need to see also the implementation of the extended producer responsibility scheme for those industries that scientifically are polluting wastewater, and they need to contribute to it.
Today, people use more cosmetics and medication than 3 decades ago. This means that there's more chemical residue in our wastewater. If the challenge of cleaning up that wastewater isn't met soon, pollution of both our rivers and oceans will only increase further.
4 more years. Joe Biden has confirmed his bid to retain the US presidency. The 82-year-old has dropped several hints in recent weeks that he would stand again in the 2024 election. So far, no significant Democratic rival has emerged to challenge him for the nomination. Biden made the announcement in a video.
The question we're facing is whether in the years ahead we have more freedom or less freedom, more rights or fewer. I know what I want the answer to be, and I think you do too. This is not a time to be complacent. That's why I'm running for re-election. Because I know America. I know we're good and decent people. I know we're still a country that believes in honesty and respect and treating each other with dignity.
The announcement sets the stage for an explosive rematch with Donald Trump, who is the front-runner to become the Republican nominee. But it appears it's not what American voters want. Polls consistently show people would prefer neither man to stand again.
America great again.